Even if you're unemployed, you should still be working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday. What I mean by this is, if you're looking for a job, pretend like you already have one, right? Wake up at 8, take a shower, eat breakfast, put on your clothes, and go to a coffee shop or a library or really anywhere where you can do, independent focused work and start sending out job applications or network with people on LinkedIn, right? Because that's really the only thing you can do. Now, I'm not saying that's the only thing you should do. Like, for example, if you want to do side things while you're looking for a job, like, start a business or find some new streams of income, do that as well. But I think that too many people are sort of stuck in this trap where they think, okay, well, I don't have a job, so it's totally fine for me to wake up at 12. It's totally fine for me to wake up at 1, right? And I can apply to jobs in the evenings. And I just don't think that's true. I think that the reality is that we are most productive when we work in groups. And so in at least in Western society, we work 5 days a week. We work from Monday to Friday and we work from 9 to 5. Now, you could argue that we work from 9 to 6. Some people work 9 to 7. Whatever it is, it really doesn't matter. But you need to have at least 6 or 7 hours of actual work during regular business hours for you to really get ahead. I've noticed that people who wake up really late and go to bed very late, like, these are people who go to sleep at 4 a.m. and then they wake up at 12 or they wake up at 1 and, like they're applying to jobs, but the kind of momentum that you have is just so much lower, right? Like it just feels like a vacation. Like it feels like you're always on a vacation and you're now stuck in this endless trap where you think that you're being productive when you send out 2 resumes per day, 3 resumes per day. But the reality is, if you treat sending out job applications like a full-time job, and you are doing that for 8 hours a day, there's a pretty good chance you can send out 20 per day, right? And now, even though, I'm currently on the job hunt, I recognize that it's hard to find work, right? I don't think that anyone's denying that. There are a lot of challenges that have come up, a lot of technologies that have come up that have made it much more challenging to find employment. But I do think that you can give yourself a much better chance if you were to actually treat it like a full-time job. Case in point, the kind of person who's going to hire you is not going to sleep at 3 a.m., right? They're going to sleep at 11 p.m. They're waking up at 7. Maybe they go to bed at midnight, they wake up at 8. But the point is, you really can't afford to um, essentially go based on a schedule that doesn't work for the vast majority of people. And if you don't believe me, just try it, right? Like you don't have to take my word for it. Do this for 3 days in a row. Like just wake up in the morning, take a shower, obviously brush your teeth, eat breakfast, get ready, and go out from 9 to 5. Just sit at your local library, send out job applications. They have free Wi-Fi, right? You would be shocked at how much more productive you are there than when you wake up at 12 p.m. You start working at 1:30, sending out job applications for a few hours, and then you go and play video games. Because when you're at home, you're going to do that. Let's be honest. You're not going to be totally focused on the actual task. Similarly, I mean, the same argument can be made for anybody who's starting a business, right? Um, in theory, you can work from 2 p.m. until 11 p.m., right? Um, but the reality is the people that you're selling to are only working until 5. So you're the only time that you are working while your clients are working or your potential clients are working is from 2 to 5. Like that's only 3 hours. Okay, that's not a lot of time. Whereas if you wake up at 8, you start your day at 9, well, now you can take calls from 9 to 2. That's 5 extra hours that you have for outreach. And that just makes perfect sense, right? So again, I'm not saying that you need to be spending uh 8 hours just sending job applications, but what I am saying is that you should be outside your home for 8 hours a day, and that should be the majority of your time, right? Like the majority of your time should be spent on sending out job applications. And there's nothing wrong with taking breaks, obviously. We all have to do that. Um, but that's really my point is that you really have to um you really have to make sure that there's some goal you want to achieve and treat it like you're already employed. And that makes it so much easier for someone to hire you. And the last thing I'll say is that it also shows up in your demeanor, right? Like if you are somebody who's going out for 40 hours a week, you're really putting the time into finding a job, you don't feel as guilty about being unemployed because you are putting effort into it. You know what I mean? And I find that people who are unemployed and they're sending out, a few job applications per day, and then they immediately go into video games or social media or Netflix for the majority of the day, they actually feel a lot more guilty because they know deep down that they should be doing more. And that's a tough pill to swallow. I'm not saying that you need to admit it. I'm not saying that you need to tell everybody that, but the fact of the matter is everybody who's in that situation feels a level of stress because they know that they could be doing more, right? They know that they could be trying harder. Um, and again, it's not a reflection of your character. I know that people have different situations, but all what I'm trying to say is that if you find yourself stuck, and you find that you're spending a lot of time at home chilling, when you're actually looking for a job, this is the reason why you're stuck, right? This is why you feel stuck. Because you not only are you unemployed, but you are acting like an unemployed person, right? Like you're acting like a stereotypical person who isn't working and who isn't putting in effort. Just because you're unemployed doesn't mean that you can't work hard, right? It doesn't mean that you can't put effort into your life. Um, and again, like I said earlier on in this video, it doesn't have to be job applications. If you're unemployed and you're looking for work, you could also just do a side hustle and just do something, right? Just try to get the ball rolling and eventually something will click. I'm not saying it's going to be soon, but if you just put the time in and you network and you meet new people and you really run as many experiments as you can, you're going to do okay, in my opinion. So, that's really what I wanted to say. That's what I've been doing recently, and I've just been feeling a lot better about the job hunt. I've been looking for a job for a few weeks now, and it's really been helping me to stay confident, right? Like I know that I'm not employed currently, but I will be soon. Or if it's not soon, then it is later. And if not later, well, then I at least know that I tried. And that is what will let you sleep a lot easier at night. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say.